So 300 miles, 302 on the ADV standard. I brought my little cheat sheet so I remember what order I want to talk about things because there's quite a bit I want to talk about. All right, so my riding background itself, I'm not going too crazy in depth with it. I started riding in 2020. My first board was the original Pint. Had that for, I think, I don't know, 1,500 miles, something like that. I also got the XR that I turned into a growler. The GT, I was a day one pre-order. Let's see, I have the Pine X. I pretty much had all the, the regular Future Motion one wheels. Some I loved, some I didn't so much. They were all fun because, we're riding on one wheel. So I currently have a little over 4,000 miles. I think we're at like 4,500. 300 now are on the FloatWheel. The ADV, I have lowered one step down. Let's see, where am I at? Sorry, you have to bear with me. The FloatWheel I ordered very tail end of December. The board portion showed up in June, and then the motor hub tire showed up in July. I think it was like mid-July by the time everything was all set up. I do it using the cryptocurrency. It was definitely intimidating. I have zero background history of dealing with cryptocurrency at all. But once I started doing it, it was pretty easy. The only thing that sucked is initially you have to leave your money, when it's a new account anyway, at least, you have to leave it in there for X amount of time before they let you utilize it and spend it. So I think it was like 2.5, maybe 3 weeks I had to let the money just sit there in cryptocurrency. I put it in one, I can't remember what it's called because again, I don't know my cryptocurrency. I put it in one that doesn't really fluctuate more than like a penny or two. So it was safe in there, it's just I had to play the waiting game. Then after it was confirmed that I could utilize the cryptocurrency, I went onto the FloatWheel website, checked out with that. It was pretty damn easy. And then it was just waiting for the board to show up. Assembly. So it comes, like I just mentioned, two different portions. There's the board, and then there is the tire motor hub. I'm not tech savvy when it comes to this stuff. Luckily, I do have my buddy down in Maple Grove, Casey at Lloyd's Board Shop, shout out, that I had a family reunion coming up the weekend that this thing showed up, and I'm like, I could either let it sit there or I could let Casey take it, put it together, put some miles on it. So that's what I did. So he did the initial setup for me. He said that it went really easy. It wasn't too much of a struggle at all. So yeah, the assembly, follow the instructions. You don't want to skip stuff. You want to take your time, make sure that you're setting the values that need to be set, that you're not skipping over anything because it is very important to get that stuff right. VESC is intimidating. I don't think there's any way around it. I mean, even in the Discord that I'm in, when these people that know what they're talking about are talking, I'm just sitting there like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So it is intimidating, but once it's set, it seems like there's only some settings that you're going to be messing with on a regular basis. It's incredibly customizable. It is fun. It's fun trying different packages that have been set up for you to try. I like a loose one, so I can't remember what it's called, but Mitch's float, whatever the hell it is. I do that one. I do angle my nose down 1 degree just because I like the way that feels. Trails, I'd probably put it back to 0. Yeah, so vesting is intimidating, just like cryptocurrency is intimidating. Once you're in it, though, it's not that bad. It's not, and trust me, I'm a high school dropout. I am not smart when it comes to batteries, battery cell knowledge. I don't know. Luckily, the community of Vesque people are pretty damn awesome, and they're very good at explaining everything and helping out. I've had smart questions. I've asked dumb questions, but you just got to ask questions or, search through the Discord and find the info you're looking for because it's more than likely in the Discord. So let's see where we at. I mean, just Vesque. Vesque is, I didn't realize, when you heard people talking about like how awesome Vesque is. Like back when I had my GT that I converted to a GTR, which I did like that board a lot. When it worked good, I had a plethora of issues with it though. Um, it's losing my train of thought there. When you'd hear people talking about it, and I'm like, I can't. I'm not I have a great computer. I game, but I don't know how to I would build a computer. Like that's not stuff I know or understand. So Vesque is very intimidating, but like I said, there is only so much that you end up once it's officially set up. Then you might go in and tweak, how playful it is, how firm your board feels, like when you're tilting forward and back, elevation of your nose, your pushback, all that good stuff. Once it's set, you don't need to deal with a lot of it unless you want to. Like I said, I found the setting that I liked. I've kind of kept it there. I'll play around with other ones a little bit, but I kind of go back to the Mitch's, I think it's called like Mitch's Street Ride or whatever it is. Super easy to change those. You open the Vesque app, tap the one you want while it's by your phone. Presto, you're in a different ride mode. So Vesque is awesome. It is incredibly smart. So now let's get into the board a little bit. So torque, that's one of the big ones with this board. This board is extremely powerful. I believe it's advertised at 6 horsepower. Again, I'm not very smart, but I know that I can climb up this thing, or climb up things on this that I would not have thought was possible. It's a lot less intimidating to be going, at speed and going up to an incline because this thing just climbs everything without issue. I remember when I initially got the board, kind of one of the first few days, I was trying to drain the battery down just to kind of test the cell health. And I got down to low battery. Not right now. Okay, no, what? Quick. No. Maybe we'll talk about it later. I'm doing something. Stay out there. River, I'm recording something. Go, you guys go play. So the torque is incredible. There's no hesitation. I've climbed up things that I didn't think was actually going to be feasible, but it turned out being feasible, and then more than just feasible. It's great. So torque is incredible. Speed. I'm not one of the crazy people that pushes things to their limits. When I got this, I like staying right around like on my fast speed. 21 miles per hour is like plenty fast enough for me. I hit so far on this board, the ADV, 22.6, I think. Yeah, 22.6 miles per hour. And that was flying. That wasn't even intentional. I was just cruising at a good speed. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh crap, 22.6. I eased off a little bit. So the big thing with the speed for me personally is knowing that I'm not pushing the board, that I'm not getting to the red zone when I'm cruising at that speed. It's nice to not be stressing if you want to be around that. If you want to push harder and do crazy speeds, that's up to you. That's not my thing. So, and also tied with that, pushback. So I've never felt pushback on this. When you get to a certain duty cycle, I think it's called, the board beeps at you. But I'm never in those dangerous areas where I really need to be paying that much attention to it. So when I'm cruising around at 20, 21, 22 miles per hour, I'm in the safe zone. I'm not pushing the board. The board's not like, fuck, you're hitting the limits. And I'm not Captain Morgan. I'm keeping nice and level. I'm being able to, carve really comfortably through that. So the top speed or just the higher end speed in general on this thing is so nice. Also, this board feels more smooth than any other board I've ever ridden on. I don't know how to describe it. It's just when I accelerate, everything just feels right. Which Future Motion one wheels, yeah, they feel good. But this just was a different level for sure. So the pushback, or lack thereof, you can go in again and adjust your pushback. If you want to come in sooner, you can adjust all that. I just leave it be because I know that I'm not really trying, I don't need to really worry about that much. The tire that came with it, I didn't really give a super fair chance. I put 10 miles, 15 miles on it. I've always been a fan of smaller tires. I like being able to be very nimble. Being playful on the board is the big thing for me. The stock tire definitely seemed very stable, but I don't really want very stable. I want to be able to be very nimble and being able to, scoot around on the board how I want. Just because it's a much funner ride for me to be able to be nimble. That's why I've always loved like the pint size. I'm not a big guy either. I'm 5'6", but having the carvability that comes with a pint is incredible. So I put on the Burris 5.5-inch tire, and this thing now is perfect. It almost feels like a GT that was a growler, if that makes sense. Just for like the form factor of it. Definitely, I'm having that fun smaller tire on it. The board itself is a little bit shorter than a GT lengthwise. GT, is probably going to end right about there. So, it doesn't seem like much, but when that's on your foot pads, that is a big chunk. This tire, I will never, unless some crazy cool thing comes out, this is my new tire, and I've always been a slick fan. This is a treaded tire. With this tire on here, I don't care about that there's tread on it. I'm perfectly happy with it. It's my tire now. So the tire, that like I said, I did not give the stock tire a very fair chance. Some people love it. I don't think it's bad by any means, but I think that there might be better options out there depending on how you ride. Where am I at? Neighborhood kids. The weight, that's what I was going to say. The big downfall of this board is the weight. But the way I look at it, you shouldn't be carrying it, you should be riding it. If you do bring this to a grocery store or whatever, throw it in the cart. It sucks to have an extra 4 pounds you're lifting into the cart over like a GT, size or weighted board. But most of the time, the board's under your feet. You don't really feel that weight. Also, with that torque that comes with it, that torque compensates for that weight. Where, when you hit up, if you bonk something, you're not just slammed to the ground because that torque is hitting it better than any other board is, and it's popping you up there. So you're still getting your bonk off. Bonk off? Yeah, so it's heavy. It sucks when I have to carry it down, down in my basement. And then it kind of sucks a little bit, but that's a small give. So I'm perfectly fine with that. Most of my riding on this board has been street. Probably, I would say 260 miles of this board is street, 40 miles trail. Just because that's how I've been riding lately. Trail, it feels great. It climbs up everything, no problem. I have not had any clearance problems with me lowering the height down that one notch. I'm going to keep it lowered. I love it. I don't think I'm ever going to have any reason to go higher than where it is when it's lowered. But yeah, street, I carve great on it, especially with this smaller tire. So it's something to think about. Let's see. Third party. I'm really excited for what I hope the third party will do. The Float Life is a big one. It would be great to have the WTF rails on here. That would be my dream. That and then some Cush highs, and this would be flawless. Honestly, it would be flawless. The rails are angled. They don't feel as angled to me. Oh, hang on, I'm on a video thing. They don't feel as angled to me as the WTF rails do, but it would definitely be nice to try those on here. And then I did put the One Wheel Parts hex. I got a 2mm on here right now, and I do like that a lot. I've always been a fan of the One Wheel Parts grip tape, so I do want to try the 4mm next. I don't know if that's a good or bad idea, but I will definitely try it. So I'm excited to see the Float Life, their review. I'm hoping that they love it. It sounds promising from what little bits I've heard. So we'll see. WTF rails on this would be great. and cush eyes. Let's see, charge time. So being that I was a pre-order, I think I got the fast charger or whatever it's labeled as. That thing charges this board incredibly quick. Like, I think less than an hour. I don't remember, but you plug it in and all of a sudden you start seeing the bars like raising up. I did go and order the standard charger for it, which is definitely slower, a couple hours. I think maybe 3 hours. I did do timing it, but right now I can't think of what timings there actually were. The hypercharger though, or quick charger, rapid charger, that thing charges incredibly fast. So definitely A plus. I mean, it incredibly fast charging. The plastics at launch, they were a bit of an issue where it was too brittle. I don't know the specifics of it, but there was just an issue where it was just cracking. People were rolling their boards over. The fender portions were cracking, getting bent up. The bottom sides I've seen have been cracked. I know Tony is trying to fix all that, and I don't know where it's at exactly, but it is good to know that he's working on it. Which also ties into like Tony from the Float Life replacing things. You can tell he cares about this product. He has been answering emails. You know, I'm sure he's flooded with all kinds of emails, being that this is the beginning stages of this board. But he's been very quick. So I mean, I've had random packages show up that I wasn't even expecting. So you can tell he wants to make us happy. He cares about the customers. It's incredible. Having a board spot that actually, right to repair, that if there's something wrong, Tony wants to take care of it and make sure that we're happy. Let me see, what am I missing? Having that top end is definitely a safety feature as far as I'm concerned. I'm not pushing this board to its limits. I haven't heard of anybody pushing for speed and nosediving yet. I'm sure it'll happen, and I'm not going to be that person. I'll definitely watch it, but I'm not going to be that person. There are some BMS issues with some of the early ones. Tony is already redesigning, rebuilding, whatever it is, a new BMS that is going to. The big thing is let us see our cell health. That was one of the big strikeouts right away. Was not being able to see the health of our batteries. That bothered me when, but he has been very quick to listen to the people talking to him about it, and he's trying to figure something out with the limited space that's in the board. As opposed to another company that we know that actually used to give us cell health and took it away for no good reason. There's no excuse to us not being able to see our cell health. So company one gave it to us, took it away. Company two listened, and now they're trying to build a whole new BMS just so we can utilize that. I think that's pretty much everything on my list that I wanted to really touch on. But I have been loving this board. 300 miles. I've not come off it once. Any mishaps. It does make a little, like when you're going 1 to maybe 4 miles per hour, it makes a fun little alien sound. It's like, I've heard other people's boards sound differently. I like the way it sounds. Even if there's a fix, I'm not going to change that. Another big one is the app that I've been using is the Float Control app, and that thing is incredible. It shows your duty cycle, your battery life, your speed. It shows all the normal information that you would expect an app to show you, but it also shows you a ton more. That there's settings in there that are values that I don't even fully understand. But I think his name is, I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. Surf Dado is what he goes by. Dado, I can't say it. But he built an amazing app for Vesque, and the thing is killer. I know there's another floaty one that I haven't really tried. I just haven't had a reason to, because I've been loving the one I've been using so much. So it's great having an awesome app. It blows the Future Motion app out of the water, like by far. You can actually scroll to different settings and different face configurations. It's an amazing app. I can't believe how good it really is for being built by someone in the community that wanted to make something for the sport. So I don't, my final score on this board, 300 miles in, I have maybe put, I've maybe put 15, 20 miles on my re-wheeled Pine X's with WTF rails, which has always been my favorite board. But I just keep grabbing this one just because it checks all the boxes. Everything I talked about, the torque, the speed, the power, just everything. The brittle plastic components, I can forgive that. You know, he's already, I believe, possibly shipping out new parts already. And I know he's going to take care of it. He's on top of his stuff. I actually read on Discord today that someone got a replacement fender, partial fender, whatever the hell they're called, and it did have a lot more bend to it. So maybe that is the new ones being out here now. I don't know. Don't quote me on that yet. It's just speculation of what I've heard. Yeah, it's a amazing board. I trust it more and more every day. I haven't had it randomly drop me. My cells have seemed to be very healthy. I recommend the FloatWheel ADV 120%. It's great. It's so much fun. There's no complaints that I can find about it besides brittle plastics. I'm always keeping an eye on the Discord to try to keep up with whatever's going on. As soon as the new BMS, which I think is going to be a handful of months at least, is ready, I'm going to grab that day one and pop it in there, which again, awesome, right to repair. I can literally take out the old BMS, plug the new one in, and be good to go. Again, can't say that for every company that we deal with. Yeah, it's great. The disassembly of it is easier, in my opinion, than a future motion board. I don't know, I'm just trying to make sure there's nothing that I didn't touch on that I wanted to. I don't regret buying this board by any means. I never will. This would be the board that I die with. Like, this is the board as of now. I hope that he does something in the future. I think it'd be cool to see like his idea of like what a Pine X could be. I think that'd be fun because again, I like that small factor. Who knows? I can dream, and so can you. So let's just see what happens with it. It's very promising. I would give this board a solid 9 out of 10. Only docking it because of small things like the plastics that were an issue in the beginning. Maybe the weird alien sounds that it makes at low speed, but I actually like that now. Yeah, it's a great board. I'm excited to put hundreds and thousands of more miles on this board. I'm just kind of freestyling this whole thing, so I hope I didn't miss anything. If I did, tough shit. I think I got everything said that I wanted to say. I'll probably do another review, see if anything changes at the 1,000-mile mark. But this is the ADV at 300 miles, and where I stand, I fucking love it. Go order one. And then it tries to trip me.